Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to do a deeper dive on the high yield savings account that I talked about in my Personal Finance 101 video. If you guys haven't seen that one, make sure to check it out. In this video, I wanted to cover the considerations as well as the benefits to opening a high yield savings account. I also will go over how you can go about setting one up for yourselves. So what is a high yield savings account? Well, let's start out with what's a savings account. Well, the savings account involves two parties. One, you, the person who is depositing the money, and two, the bank. So you would deposit a certain amount of money to the bank, and in exchange, the bank will give you what's called an interest rate, usually based off of something called an APY, which stands for annual percentage yield. That APY is the rate annually that you will get as a interest paid back for depositing money with that bank. A high yield savings account is similar to a regular savings account in that both savings accounts will give you a APY, so you'll get an interest rate for the amount of money that you're storing with the bank on an annual basis. The difference is that for high yield savings accounts, the interest rate that you generate from those accounts are much higher than a regular savings account. So let's take a look at an example. So here we have the interest savings rate for Chase, which is one of the major financial institutions that you can open a savings account with. So here, the savings account rate for Chase is at 0.01% APY. This means that for every $10,000 you deposit into your savings account, you'll get 10,000 times 0.01%, which is only $1 a year of earned interest. Now let's take a look at a high yield savings account. So for a high yield savings account, the interest rate can be on average 0.5% APY, which means that this is actually 50 times higher than the regular savings rate at a normal savings account. What does this mean for your money? Well, this means that you'll be making 50 times more interest in a high yield savings account than a regular savings account. So let's take a concrete example. If your current savings account is making $10 of interest a year, then putting that money into a high yield savings account would give you $10 times 50, which means it is $500. So how safe is a high yield savings account? So you might be wondering, the high yield savings account sounds great, but are there any downsides and what's the catch here? Well, I'm glad you asked. And the short answer is no, there are no downside risks. For the high yield savings account, just like the regular savings account, they're both FDIC insured. And what that means is that the government will protect up to $250,000 of your deposit for both a regular savings account and the high yield savings account. So the safety margins in terms of losing money in that bank account is actually equal whether you put that in a regular savings account or into the high yield savings account. So another question you might have is, are there any restrictions when it comes to how I can use my money if I put this in a high yield savings account? Well, also a great question. The short answer is the high yield savings account doesn't have any more restrictions than a regular savings account, but this ultimately varies depending on whichever bank and whichever institution you ultimately open your high yield savings account with. Generally though, the savings accounts all have a withdrawal limit on how many number of times you can actually withdraw your money every single month. Usually it's something like you can withdraw no more than 6 times a month. So now that I have sold you on opening a high yield savings account, you might be wondering, how do I get started? The process of opening a savings account, whether it's high yield or regular, is pretty easy. Just like opening a regular bank account, all you have to do is either go to the bank or go online to the bank's website, fill out the application, and then once your account is processed, you can deposit the money and start earning that sweet, sweet yield. In terms of the bank to open the high yield savings account with, there's a lot of resources online and a lot of different platforms that offer something like a high yield savings account. Personally, I've been using a platform called Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I've been using this for a couple of years, so let me know if this would be something that you guys are interested in me maybe doing a review, and maybe I'll post a future video on that. So let me know in the comments. As a quick recap, the high yield savings account is just like a regular savings account, but the main difference is that your APY, or your interest rate that you earn, is much higher than a regular savings account. The savings account for both high yield and regular accounts are FDIC insured up to $250,000, and there are usually withdrawal limits depending on the bank and the institution that is offered with, so it varies depending on the bank's offerings. If you guys enjoyed this video, please also make sure to stay tuned for episode number 2 next week, where I'll discuss a little bit more about the criteria and the important areas to watch out for as you're selecting the right high yield account for you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful and you guys learned something about high yield savings accounts today. If you found this to be helpful, definitely give this video a like and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos from me. I'm posting videos every single week. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.